Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the GCMA Partner Network. I'm delighted again to be joined by Richard Knight, the MD of Nextra Software, and today he's going to be talking us through self-service within the app, staff availability, and rostering. So, Richard, once again, good to see you, and over to you.
Yeah, nice to see you again, Darren, and thanks for the time. So this is what our app looks like. I'm simulating it on a laptop for this purpose, but obviously you'll have to imagine this is what it looks like on a mobile phone. So we have a default sort of landing page where your team members can basically clock in for any shifts that they've got. They can see the shifts that they've got tomorrow up and coming. They can see any holiday. We can immediately book new holiday from here if you want them to do that. That always goes off to a manager approval, so that they can't. It's not the case if a computer says no. It always goes through to manager. We can see holiday allowances we've got left here, and that works for contracted and 0 hours staff as well, and number of hours we worked in the week as well. In the self-service section itself, we've got a multiple selection of different tiles that we can choose. And normally when we do a rollout, we'll probably turn an awful lot of these off. We try to ease people into the system without overcomplicating it, but I've got them all turned on just for the purpose of this. So you've got the normal things that we can do in here. We can change passwords. We can manage absences. We can change our own personal details. If you want to update mobile phone numbers and all those sorts of things, we can do that in this section here. And this is what that looks like. Probably the one that we're going to talk about today is obviously clocking shifts. And I know we've covered the geolocation in past videos, so we can see on a map whether we can or can't clock in if it's given as an error, but that's where we would do that. Okay, so what we were going to talk about today, and obviously is quite prevalent for a lot of courses at the moment, is those that are using 0 hours staff and asking people to give availability as to when they can and can't work. So from an end user or a staff member point of view, they would come into their app, they'd click on availability, and what they can do is give availability that they can work throughout the year. Also, they can say they're not available. So if we're maybe using students and people for returning from university, I can say that I'm available from today until the end of the year. And I can only work Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, and maybe the odd Tuesday or something. So we could pop that in as well. I click add, the system will basically go off and populate the rota that we were looking at before with availability shifts for that particular person. You then, as a golf course manager or as a catering manager or F&B, can then go to the rota, see all of your staff, see the availability they've given, and then obviously assign them a shift if you want to. As a member of staff, you'll then obviously see all of the shifts down here. This list scrolls down, but on a laptop, I can't scroll all the way to the bottom, unfortunately. But you get the idea. We can see all the shifts that we've got. They can obviously go in and delete some if they need to. If something's come up and they need to remove their availability, that'll obviously remove the availability shift from the rotor as well. So that's really powerful, really useful to use. The other thing they can see within their app is their absences. We can go in and book holiday. You can see a summary of absences that they might have had already. So we can view all of their holiday. Very simple to go in and obviously add absences. I'm not going to go through and add all absences today, but this is how you would do it. Nice and easy and simple to use. The other one, which is really, really useful, is obviously the rota. So people can go in, see what they're working and see where they're scheduled. Obviously, the coloured dots are references to the rota. So we have got some holiday booked in here for this particular person, but we've also got a 7 till 4 in F&B. I can click and obviously get a little bit more information, where we've talked about in the past about using skills. So if we've given somebody a role based on skill, that would be in here. So maybe they've been assigned a runner role or working behind the bar. So obviously your team are empowered before they come in. They know where they're going to be working and what they're going to be doing. We can obviously view the rota as a flat list if you want to as well. So we can see all the shifts there. So that's nice and easy and really, really quick and easy to use. We can sync that out to people's mobile phone iCals or on Android devices if you want to, but most people don't because obviously our diary is nice and easy to use from there. I think I probably covered most of the things. The other things that we've spoken about in the other video was obviously people being able to see the skills that they've got expiring. So we've covered that one off. Other things that we can do within Nextra, which are really powerful and perhaps we'll cover on another video, is we have an inbuilt messaging system. Managers can send and broadcast messages out to the entire team. So if we've got an F&B team and they're all registered as a contact, that's where their messages would apply. But as I said, when we generally roll the system out, we'll perhaps only have 4 of these icons turned on. It makes it much easier for them to understand how they're using. And obviously that would just be the normal rota, the clockings, availability, and maybe the absences. But we can obviously configure that to how people want to do. So that's the mobile app. it runs on any device, whether it's iOS or Android, and you can also use the self-service from a laptop as well if you want, which is what I'm doing today.
Fantastic. That looks, again, really powerful. We talked a lot about how this benefits club managers and people administrating golf clubs across the whole different departments. But looking at that, it's also a really neat, useful, concise app for the end user as well, for the staff being employed, so that they can see at a glance, um, their employment with the golf club, basically. So I think that's really, really useful
Yep.
for both sides of management and the people that they are employing. So, Richard, thank you very much again for your time, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Aaron. See you soon.